Hey everyone, it's Melina from the RV Canucks podcast. Here are our top 10 tips for landing a campsite at an Ontario Provincial Park. Tip 1. Reservations can be made 5 months prior to the day you want your reservation to start, and reservations open at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So log on and have a look a week or a few days before that 5-month window to find parks that are still available. Ontario has over 100 parks that offer car camping, but the majority of bookings are at only 5 parks. They are Algonquin, Killbear, the Pinery, Sandbanks, and Bon Echo. So look outside these parks during peak times for a better chance at landing a site. Tip 2. Filters. Only use optional filters like the level of shade you have in a site or whether it's a pull-through or not if you absolutely need them. For example, if you need to book a barrier-free site for accessibility reasons, go ahead and do that. But otherwise, try not to fill out the filter section, the optional filters, because it's really going to cut down the amount of sites that come back during your search. So tip 3 is play with your dates. If you're clicking on the map and you're really not finding a lot of information or a lot of availability about sites that you want to go to, try pushing your vacation out a week and see what that does to the availability. You can also go ahead and do a midweek stay like we've done here from a Monday to a Friday in the middle of July. And you can see the amount of availability that's still available in some of the most popular areas of the park. For this video, we're going to click on the Pinery because it is one of the most popular parks that I mentioned, just to see how much availability is still there. While I'm clicking through on the maps, I'm going to give you my biggest tip when I'm booking on the day of is to keep it in map view. There is a list view that you can look at that just lists the sites numerically. However, once you're in a campground loop and you can see the available sites to you, on the day that you're booking, if you actually have that site disappear in front of you and you need to go to your second, third, or your fourth choice, you're going to have a hard time doing that in list view. A map's going to give you a much better visual to be able to click the available site so that you have the best chance of booking it. So here we can see in Dune Campground, there's about 9 sites that are available that still fit our rig. So what I will do in this case is I will go through and have a look at each site, look at the characteristics of it, mark down the ones that are important to me, and I'm going to list them in order of importance. And I'm going to do that for the entire park as well as a couple of the neighboring parks so that I have a really big list of sites that I can just go ahead and click on booking day. So tip 5 is to make sure your browser is up to date. So out-of-date JavaScript, which is part of your browser settings, can actually mess with the system clock on your computer, and it can even make a difference in the clock itself. And the time clock is one of the most important parts of booking the system. So even if it's off by a tenth of a second, that can make a difference to snagging a site or not. So tip number 6, on booking day, leave plenty of time to boot up your device and clear your browser cache so that you've got the cleanest slate possible to book your site. Tip 7 is don't forget up at the top of the site to sign in. I have definitely done this in the past and it did not work out well for me. So make sure you're signing into your Ontario Parks reservation account before you hit reserve. Tip 8 is that possibly if you have a second device available, like a phone or a tablet, you can log on with that as well and pick your second choice park and pick the loop that you want to stay in your second choice park, just in case your first choices don't work out. You have another device logged in and ready to go, hovering over another campground or another campsite that you want to book. Tip 9, and this is probably the biggest tip you're going to get if you don't know about it already, is up at the top of the screen, you're going to see the system time. And on mobile, it just says time. But you're going to click that and it's going to bring you a pop-up that's going to show you the actual system time. Now, this pop-up doesn't get in the way of clicking reserve on any of the sites. So don't worry about clicking around on the computer while the pop-up's up. Don't close it out because you're not going to be able to see when the system time actually rolls around to 7 o'clock because that's the exact second you want to hit that reserve button. Finally, tip 10, if you don't have luck, don't log off. The system will hold sites in carts for 15 minutes before releasing them back into general inventory if they aren't booked. Keep refreshing or have a look at a different park and you just might find a site pop up towards the end of that window. Hope this tips were helpful. Subscribe to the RV Canucks podcast wherever you listen to podcasts for more camping tips. And as always, you can find us on Instagram or Facebook at RV Canucks. That's RVCANUCKS.